Hello, viewers. This is Cynthia Michael from Scooby-Doo, bringing my 552 podcast. This is my 552 podcast. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to breathe hard during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change your adult language. Once again, if you're under 19, this audio podcast recording will change your adult language if you're under 19. Now, if you're over 19, that means you get to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into the topic of this podcast. So basically, yesterday, South Park has aired its part 2 COVID special yesterday. I gotta say. So basically, as you guys know, the guys at South Park had made a deal with Paramount Plus to do 14 specials for Paramount Plus. So basically, the first COVID special that aired back in November was it's one out of 14 of those COVID specials. So basically, turns out this COVID was a two-parter. So basically, just to let you guys know, the guys at South Park signed a deal to do 14 specials for Paramount Plus, and so basically, this two-part COVID specials that they did are just the first two out of 14 they had to go. So anyway, let's get into the review of part 2 of this COVID special. I gotta say, this shit is crazy. This is some good stuff. Honestly, Butters, seeing adult Butters, I gotta say, it really, I really like this special. South Park once again done a good job. I got them back. The only thing I would say, even though we see most of the adults did make cameos, didn't have any speaking lines in these two, in part 1 and in the second part, the first part and the second part of these specials. So basically, we didn't really get much dialogue from all the adults in here besides Wendy. But also, this is like the joke. Honestly, I really liked it. Butters really lived up to. Yeah, I was expecting Butters is going to do chaos, but I wasn't expecting he's going to about these pyramid schemes causing chaos in the future and shit. STN, whatever the fuck it's called, whatever, trying to doing all that crazy shit. Butters, honestly caught me shine in the first one. He also shined in the second one, but Butters really, but with the corporation Butters, I gotta say, but really thick, like Butters did shine in the second part of this episode. But honestly, I feel like Cartman really shined in both parts. Butters did shine in the second part. I just wish he was more and more in the second part, in the first part of the COVID, in this two part of COVID, special. But honestly, and also there's a lot, even though. The comedy was good, everything, but also there's some good serious moments. So basically, that's there's some good serious moments between Stan and his father. Between Don't Stan and his father. So basically, it's a lot of Terminator records and whatnot, and also this special really like every. like every South Park episode, really, it always ends off with a ends off with with a very important lesson that the boys learn from set events that they go on and whatnot. So basically, the boys always learn a lesson, even though sometimes the lesson is is a bit silly, but most times most times the message that it's being learned, so basically my point is every time that every South Park episode with special ends, it always ends with a very important message, or lesson to be learned by the boys and whatnot. So basically, this South Park really did a good job. So basically, throughout this special, it was pointing out some serious, about some serious issues about, people believing that, the COVID vaccine is not, listen to people who are not experts, instead of listening to people who are experts when it comes to COVID and the COVID vaccines. We should take this, this COVID, we should take the COVID. We should take this COVID. This COVID pandemic seriously, and also let's not go overboard by doing so. So basically, for this, even though these two COVID specials were funny as hell, there were three very important lessons that was learned throughout these two part of COVID specials. So basically, we should, as a people, we should take this COVID crisis seriously. We should, seek expert opinions instead of non-expert opinions on COVID, and also we should not go overboard. We should not really go overboard on let's not go overboard taking this COVID pandemic seriously. Let's not go way crazy. We should take it. We should take this COVID. We should definitely take this COVID epidemic seriously. But at the same time, let's not go overboard with it as well. But the one thing that really surprised me in this special is Cartman. Cartman made a sacrifice to me. Cartman really did make a sacrifice to, between Cartman and Kitty did have good lives in the future, but Cartman, he honestly, there's some real death to Cartman in this special. So basically, he wanted to sacrifice his perfect family in order to change the future for the better. So basically, Cartman really surprised me. Yes, he was scheming on. Yes, he was trying to scheme on, trying to not to change his future, but when it came time to when he finally realized that it's the best outcome to changing this crappy future. He really made the choice to sacrifice his perfect future to make the future even better for everybody else, and sacrifice his own perfect future in the process. So basically, Cartman really, Cartman really, honestly, it's not always, honestly, this is the best noble thing I've seen Cartman do in a long time in South Park. Now, there's been times that Cartman did good things to help others, but, on where on rare occasions. But this is one sacrificing his perfect future for a crappy for his sacrificing his perfect family, his perfect life in the future for a crappy life. And no family was a real good noble deed that God ever did in the history of South Park. So overall, this is honestly this was a good. This was a good, this was a good final ending for the COVID special. Everybody it was funny. It had some good character. It had some good character development, some good emotional scenes to it. So basically, this was the best South Park special I've seen in a while. So basically, the critics in South Park really did a good job, not only making it funny, also getting us, also giving us, lessons that we about, also making it, also giving us these specials a important message that we should give this special, enforcing the important issues about what's going on with COVID and whatnot. So basically, South Park really done a good job. So basically, this special done a good job. So anyway, I love this special. So basically, if you watch this special, I recommend you watch both parts of the South Park COVID post-COVID special. So anyway, what do you guys think about the South Park? Think about the second part and the first part of the COVID. South Park post-COVID special. Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it just okay? Please let me know with the comments below this podcast. So anyway, like always, this is Michael from Studio. Signing off. 1.